Help support Friendo Club by going to patreon.com/Steven Larson or clicking join at youtube.com/Steven Larson. Access to bonus episodes, question threads for the Going In Raw podcast, and entry to our monthly wrestling predictions challenges. Join the Friendo Club today. Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
My goodness, Larson, I can't believe it. You woke me up at 4 o'clock in the morning, anxious to do these star ratings, so here we are. I need to get back to bed, man. I know you want these fresh, but this is kind of ridiculous.
Bed can wait. Star ratings now. Here's the thing. We're what? About 13 hours from the close? I didn't get to before the morning. That's a lie. About 13 hours from the end of Revolution.
Improv, man. Yes,
hey,
and
I rolled
improv.
with it. I rolled with it. We're about 13 hours from the end of Revolution. Here we are, dropping these hot, fresh star ratings for you. By the time this video is up, it'll be about 13 and a half hours, maybe 14 hours, 14 and a half hours since the show ended.
Yeah.
You ain't got to wait 5 days like those other guys. You get them in less than 24 hours. That's only here at Friendo Club Wrestling, nowhere else.
And by the way, we're not only putting those other guys at the Observer on notice. I think Wade Keller does stars too, doesn't he?
I think so.
Or Apter? Somebody, I don't know. Somebody else does stars.
I think it's Wade Keller does stars.
Is it Wade?
Yeah, I think it's Wade.
Listen, I don't know when he gets his star ratings up. I hesitate to think that it's going to be 14 hours. Guess what, Wade Keller? You're one of the other guys.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Anyways, Larson, of course, we're talking AEW Revolution today, here to give you our fresh star ratings. Hot out of the oven. Yeah. Where do you want to start today?
Well, we're going to start on the main card because I don't believe you watched the pre-show, or did you watch the pre-show? Regardless.
I ain't watching no pre-show.
Very well. We'll start with the TNT title match. Of course, it's Christian Cage defending against Daniel Garcia. Steve, what'd you give this match?
Thought it was a fine match. I thought it was good. We had stakes on the line. Daddy Magic went up and beat the crap out of Luchasaurus. I gave it 3.5 stars.
I'm right there with you, 3.5 stars. Perfectly fine match. It went pretty much how you'd expect it to go, at least if it was going to lead to a Christian win. Competitive bout. Christian has to utilize the patriarchy to get that W, leaving Daniel Garcia dejected in the ring. You got to expect Cope's going to come back into the title picture at some point and probably be the one to take that belt off Christian, but it ain't happening yet. Perfectly fine match, 3.5 stars. Next
bitch.
We get Eddie Kingston defending his Continental crown against Bryan Danielson. It's Bryan Danielson. You know you're going to get an awesome match.
Yeah.
You get the intensity of Danielson and Eddie Kingston in the ring.
Yeah.
You got the story going on of Eddie trying to earn Bryan Danielson's respect. The finishing sequence of this match I thought was fantastic. The last 3 minutes especially. The whole match was really good. The way Eddie was selling that right hand, couldn't hit any strikes with it. Using his left hand to hit some back fists and some slaps and some chops and some punches. The finishing sequence was awesome. Awesome. Eddie getting the win here. And I don't know if you watched the backstage segment between them.
I did.
It was really good.
It was really good.
They're
I was hoping
now.
for a bit. The way some of the friendos were describing it, weren't you hoping for a little bit more?
Yeah, I was. But I thought that Danielson kind of smiling to himself about saying, "Oh, I'm so good at fucking people up." That was really good.
That was really good in the end when he literally laughed, saying, tonight I learned to get past my own bullshit. I like that.
That's good. That being said, I gave it 4 stars. Really, really good. But it seemed more in line with a 4-star match as opposed to something higher.
I thought I actually went 4 as well. Groupthink, Larson. Groupthink.
Synergy. That's what we got here.
Right, exactly. I thought there were altogether 3 matches on the card that were right in that, oh man, what a good 4-star match.
Yeah.
Nothing to quibble about. High drama. Didn't know who was going to win this. Didn't know who was going to win the other 2 matches that I'm referring to.
Yeah.
Just straight up, man, this is that kind of shit that would go perfect in the G1, which is like the 4-star tournament. You know what I mean? Everybody just does the 4-star match. So I gave it 4 stars as well. Everything you said, I can't put any better than that.
Let's talk about this all-star scramble, Steve. 8 men, 1 title shot on the line. What'd you give this one, Steve?
Hey, man, you got to have a turd on every pay-per-view. Every pay-per-view's got to have 1 turd match, Larson.
Yep.
You got 9 matches that are all going to be winners.
Nope.
And this certainly was not a winner. I said this last night. I don't even know if I should go this high, but I can't go this high. I'm going to give this 2.5. Last night I said it was a perfectly fine 2 3/4. Nah, 2.5.
You're right, 2.5. That's what I gave it as well.
Think.
Yeah, I mean, there were some fun moments, but by and large, it seemed unstructured.
The only reason I gave it even 2.5 is for the flex off bit between all the big meat guys.
That was good. Yeah, 2.5. This is the one match on the card that didn't really advance a whole lot of story apart from Wardlow getting the title shot, but that was going to happen regardless.
Nothing, man. Nothing.
It didn't really advance much of anything from storyline perspective. It was a mess.
It was.
In terms of how it was constructed, because it basically felt like I had no structure apart from the moment where the four guys who probably would have been the Meat Madness match had their kind of square off. And otherwise, it just felt like a bunch of stuff happening, culminating in Wardlow hitting a powerbomb to get the win. You know what made the finish more impressive? Yeah. If Wardlow had gotten up like, I don't know, Lance Archer for one of those last drives.
I know, yeah.
Then you end the match like, oh my God, that is a really damn impressive feat of strength.
Get one of the meat guys up, yeah.
Yeah, that would have been pretty cool. But nonetheless, it was fine.
I'm not sure exactly what constitutes an all-star. You know what I mean? I feel like there needs to be criteria. There needs to be some sort of all-star rankings for the next time we do an all-star scramble.
At the very least, if you're an all-star, you should be ranked. You should be a ranked competitor. That's my feeling, you know?
Yeah. No, I don't disagree with that.
Let's move on to the International Championship match. You got Roderick Strong defeating former champion Orange Cassidy to claim the international title for himself. We both are huge fans of Roderick Strong here at Going in Raw. One of the best performers, one of the best sellers in ring. Orange Cassidy's put on some spectacular bouts. I said this on a recap, is going into a Roderick Strong match, you know what you're going to get. You're going to get him destroying somebody's back. But the way he does it, the intensity with which he does it, the creativity with which he does it, means his matches are never boring.
True.
And you get someone like Orange in there who knows how to sell, who knows how to elicit sympathy from getting his back absolutely wrecked, has enough hope spots to get you thinking, oh, maybe he can hold on to this, because we've seen it so many times before with him. In the end, though, Roddy gets the win. I thought this was really, really good stuff. I gave it 4 stars.
I gave it 4 1/4.
I knew you were going to go a little higher than me on that one.
Earlier, I said 4 stars. But when I look at this and I think about it, I'm like, man, I got to give him a little something extra. Just for, number one, there was that awesome powerbomb on the top turnbuckle, really or whatever you want to call that thing, on the top turnbuckle, which was an awesome spot. But also, like, man, Orange Cassidy, when he's in there with a guy like Roderick Strong, just turns it up another notch. He really knows how to wrestle. Roderick Strong just makes everything look real. And you got to give a couple extra points for that. So yeah, man, I give 4 1/4 to this match. I thought it was phenomenal. Really, really good stuff.
It was really, really good. Let's move on to another really good match. Tag team match, FTR losing somewhat surprisingly to the Blackpool Combat Club. Steve, what'd you give this one?
I gave it 4 stars. This is the other one that I gave a straight up 4-star rating to, because I clearly didn't know who was going to win it, because I picked FTR with a lot of confidence points. So I love that they went in a different direction. FTR got absolutely wrecked. Again, I love that. But typically I'm not the biggest like Blackpool Combat Club guy. Like when it comes to Mox and Claudio, sometimes I feel like it's a bit of a phone-in situation. Man, these guys brought it. This was compelling. It was physical. It was fast-paced. They were just beating the shit out of each other. Dax was bleeding like crazy. I really like this match, man. I go 4 stars with this one.
All the reasons you listed is why I gave it 4 1/4.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
It was edge of your seat stuff towards the end, because, as you said, it seemed like it was a match that FTR should and probably would have won going into it, given what we got from the go-home math. But no, Blackpool Combat Club wrecked them and then beat them at the end. It was it was a surprising finish to a really spectacular bout. You mentioned the pace, never let up, a lot of good creative stuff. You know, the only demerit I could give this match were the LOD shoulder pads that Blackpool Combat Club wore during their entrance. Otherwise, there's basically nothing to quibble about when it comes to this match. 4 1/4.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably why I didn't go 4 1/4, because I had to knock off a 1/4 star for the ridiculous Five Below LOD shoulder pads.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to see those again. Hopefully not. Next up, the women's championship match. Deonna Purrazzo challenging Toni Storm. This was really good, and it felt like, which I hope it is, the first in at least 2 matches. Maybe we'll get 3. I don't know. the story of Deanna out wrestling in a lot of respects Toni Storm, because she is the better technical wrestler, and taking advantage of that only for Toni to have to cheat to win. Kind of knew how this would go down. That being said, it was really enjoyable and really well executed. I gave it 3.5 stars.
I'll be honest with you. I felt like there was something missing out of this match. You know, like I felt the finish was a little bit on the, I don't know, copy paste, situation with the interference there. It felt too easy because you just stumbled into a Storm Zero. I don't know. It's something about this. Just I felt like it was missing. Number one, it felt like a foregone conclusion that Toni Storm was going to win, and I just didn't get any other sense down the stretch. There was something missing. I only gave it 3 stars.
All right.
I just think there was something missing about it. And I look forward to hopefully they do another one because the feud itself has been really good. I don't think that the match itself really lived up to what the feud has been. So I gave it 3 stars.
All right. Very well. Next up, I don't think we're going to disagree on this one. Although I have an upper limit to my scale, so it's only going to go so high. I'm talking about Takeshita versus Ospreay. Steve, what'd you give this one?
I mean, obviously it was match of the night, contender for match of the year. I'd have to go back and see what else is out there. I don't think this is I forget what went down at Wrestle Kingdom. There was a match of the year candidate there or not.
I'll have to look.
Yeah. Obviously a phenomenal match, statement match for Will Ospreay coming in. I docked it because it was such a foregone conclusion, and I never once got the thought that was ever going to change. I gave it 4 3/4.
Wow.
I didn't quite go to 5 stars. I thought it was awesome. Obviously, Brainbuster on the top turnbuckle. Thought it was an awesome match. Match of the year candidate for sure. I'm sure something else will get 5 stars. Maybe I'll revisit this. But right now, there's no Ospreay had the 9 confidence points here.
Yeah.
And there was nothing about the match that made me doubt that outcome. And I feel like if it did, maybe I would have gone to 5 stars, but otherwise I gave it 4 3/4.
I gave it 5, and I understand your point about maybe a lack of drama. And maybe it could have benefited from some interference from Don Callis to help out Takeshita, because maybe it would have given us a little bit of that. That being said, sometimes, I'm going to sound like I'm contradicting myself, sometimes when the wrestling is so good, performances, storytelling within the match is so crisp and well executed, and you get some incredible feats of athleticism you can't believe you're witnessing, in the wrestling ring. Sometimes I'll look past a lack of drama to see, wow, this match is expertly executed. In terms of the performances, both Takeshita and Ospreay, you can't quibble about anything.
No, it was great. It was awesome.
Basically as perfectly executed a match as you could expect.
Yeah.
Especially considering the complexity of some of the things they were doing.
Yeah.
Plus, Brainbuster on top turnbuckle is a 5-star match for me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. My taste's a little bit more discerning, I think, than yours. So, a little bit less than that. But
it was aquatic kicks. That's what you docked it for, huh?
yeah. Whoa, hold on a second. How did I give that Eddie Kingston match 4 stars? That should have been 3 3/4 because of those stupid machine gun shots.
It's on the record. Sorry, on the record. It's on the record.
Forgot about match. Those. Fair enough.
Let's talk about the AEW Championship match. You had Samoa Joe defending against Hangman Adam Page, Swerve Strickland. So there was
a hard time with this one, I can tell already.
Yeah, because there's a lot to like. And we talked about the scenario, and I don't want to sound like a broken record regarding the finish of it, where Hangman sees that Swerve could potentially break up the Coquina clutch, but to prevent Swerve from winning, Hangman taps. And we didn't get that necessarily explicitly. There wasn't the shot of Swerve seeing what was going on. There wasn't the shot of Hangman seeing Swerve recognize what was going on, tapping in reaction to Swerve potentially breaking that up and getting the win for himself. That being said, I saw a lot of people still make that connection. That Hangman tapped out to keep Swerve from winning.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't feel like it was necessarily explicitly stated via how it was shot.
Yeah.
And part of me feels like, yeah, it might have been a tricky scenario to nail that story beat and to make it as effective as it could have been, because I thought it could have been a really effective story beat. But that being said, I felt like this match needed that kind, whether it was that exact beat or something to punctuate it to really drive home that finish. And And it was a match that going into it, you knew exactly what the story was going to be. It's going to be Hangman and Swerve so obsessed with each other that Joe would get the win, and that's more or less how it played out.
Yeah.
It was really good, but I gave it 3 3/4 stars.
I don't know if this is groupthink or what. Everything you just said, copy and paste that. I thought, and including the star rating, 3 3/4. I thought that the little bits we got of Hangman focusing on Swerve, he hits Swerve with 2 title shots. Swerve goes to the outside of the ring. Hangman basically just sort of stands there and watches what he did instead of paying attention to Joe. I like that, and I think we could have got that in a more heated, emotional, passionate way if they escalated that storyline. If they took that several more levels, and maybe had more of that, more sense of urgency from Hangman Page, desperate to keep Swerve away from his title win. And I don't ever think it really reached that level. I don't think it reached that height. I will say this, I loved Hangman beating the shit out of refs.
Yeah.
Because they all came close to giving Swerve the win. I love that. I love this new Hangman character. Curious to see what they do with him from here on out. There's, a report out there that he might be taking some time off. In any event, I gave this 3 3/4, same as you did.
There we go. All right, main event, Sting's final match. Sting and Darby Allin successfully defending those AEW Tag Team Championships. What are you laughing for already? Against the Young Bucks. Steve, what'd you give this one?
I'm struggling with this one. I really am, because I'll do this. In a vacuum, if this wasn't Sting's last match, you give it like 3 3/4. The Darby spot is kind of a giveth and taketh away kind of thing, where it's like, man, what a big spot. Man, I don't want to see a guy die. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, that's an awesome spot. And Darby, at this point, I'm just sort of like, well, that's just Darby. He knows what he's doing. I hope that he will eventually know his limit when he has to start dialing that stuff back. It was a showcase to celebrate Sting. I never thought that's actually not true. I went 4 stars with it, because it was such a wonderful celebration of Sting's career, and there was doubt in my mind towards the finish that they might give this to the Young Bucks, and then when they were doing all the EVP triggers, I was like, oh shit, they're going to do a thing where they're going to get the win, and then Darby and Sting will come back after the match and sort of, get the heat back, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And so there was doubt in my mind. And I think that's the sort of thing that I was talking about earlier with the Ospreay thing. I don't even think it necessarily needed the hint of interference or distraction or a story beat. I think those 2 guys are good enough to have convinced me that Takeshita could have won that match just straight up, and they never got there. In this match, I was, given that there is the time-honored tradition of the old-timer going out on his back, that added to that, because that's always a thing. Sting obviously is a traditionalist, even though, he in Corner Fightful, this was always the plan, is for Sting to win and have a big celebration. It was a joyous occasion. It was an incredibly fun match, and it was a wonderful celebration of Sting on his way out. So I can't give it anything less than 4 stars, and that's what I gave it.
That's what I gave it as well. 4 stars. Everything you said spot on. There was enough ups and downs and drama in the story to get you invested in the outcome. Beyond just the fact that Sting's last match, and some people are going to appreciate Darby's spot, some people might not. Even if you take that out of it, wildly fun match. You could tell everybody involved was having a blast during this match. It's you can't ask for a better way to end your career than a match like this.
Yeah,
that people are going to remember for a long, long, long time. 4 stars, absolutely.
Yeah. Anyways, let us know what you guys think in the comments below. What's your star ratings for AEW Revolution? Let us know. And until next time, be sure to hit that subscribe button and like button as well.
Yes, please.
Until next time, we'll see you guys around.
Goodbye.